উপর লাইটটা জ্বলবে একটু কোনাত ধৰিব খিৰিকীখন অকণ খুলি দিওঁ নি আন্ধাৰ হৈছে খিৰিকীখন অকণ খুলি দিওঁ Yeah, good evening. Good afternoon. This is Babita Hazarika. I am the Chief Dietitian of Apollo Gleneagles Hospitals, Kolkata. Today I shall be talking about easy, affordable and healthy eating tips. Apart from that, I shall talk about food and nutrition in self-quarantine, low carbohydrate preparation and preparedness. Okay. Yes, we can. And good evening. Very good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Comment. Question answer negative or
Good afternoon.
start?
Namaste. This is Babita Hazarika. I am the Chief Dietitian of Apollo Gleneagles Hospitals, Kolkata. I shall be talking about easy, affordable, healthy eating tips, food and nutrition in self-quarantine, low carbohydrate preparedness, diet for children and for elderly, and avoid boredom and stress, along with taking care of the food cravings. How do we take care of our food cravings? When we talk about diet in this time of the in this time of the pandemic, the first thing that comes to our mind, it is definitely immunity. COVID-19 pandemic has taught us that our immune system is very important for our health. And what do we do to boost our immunity? How does diet help? When we talk about immunity, there are three types of immunity. The first is the natural immunity that we get from when we are born. That is, it is in our genes. It is by birth we are getting the immunity. The second one is the adaptive immunity, which is developed during our lifetime when we get exposed to our environment. And the third one, it is the passive immunity. Passive immunity is the immunity that we have borrowed. That is, when a child is getting the mother's milk, means the child gets the immunity from the mother's milk. Immunity is no rocket science. It is obtained by following a very healthy lifestyle. So when we talk about the healthy lifestyle, it is actually a system. It has to be balanced and it is to be in harmony. It has to be in harmony. How? It has to be in harmony with our diet, with the amount of sleep, and also with the amount of activity. Activity for me does not mean going to the gym. Activity can be just walking, maybe brisk walking and doing very light exercises. That is definitely going to help. Now let us come to diet. Diet along with our gut health builds up the immunity. It is not only the food that we take. Apart from that, how is our digestive system? How is the microflora? What is the flora of the gut? That is also important, which is going to help to build up the immunity. When we talk about the diet, so first of all, maybe I should talk a little bit about the macronutrients and the micronutrients. So the macronutrients, when we talk about, it is the proteins, fats and carbohydrates, and each one of them are important to keep ourselves healthy. And apart from that, we have the proteins, which do play a very important role for developing immunity, which I shall talk about a bit later on. Let us look into the micronutrients. So the micronutrients are mainly vitamin A, C, D, and the mineral, it is zinc. Vitamin A is good for vision. We all know that, and vitamin A helps us for in growth and development. Apart from that, very important at this time, it is what develops and it maintains the immunity. The recommended allowances for vitamin A is approximately 600 mcg per day, and the amount of this amount of vitamin D can be definitely fulfilled if our diet composes of varieties of colored fruits and vegetables, especially the orange and the yellow colored ones. Just think about them. What could they be? It is the carrot, the pumpkin, maybe the ripe papaya, and apart from that, we have even beta carotene that is available in the green leafy vegetables, broccoli and spinach. The next important vitamin is vitamin C. The other name for vitamin C is ascorbic acid. Maybe at this time of the day, everybody is enriching themselves with a lot of vitamin C in their diet. As we know that vitamin C is important, and it is required for the several enzymatic functions, and apart from that, it is helpful in improving our immunity. Evidence shows, there are studies which have showed that it helps in the prevention of common cold. Apart from that, if vitamin C is taken, in routine, more amount of, these vitamin rich fruits and vegetables are there in our day to day diet every day, even the length of our cold gets reduced, so it shortens the cold like problems that one might have. The amount of vitamin C recommended is more, especially in the case of a smoker. Okay, females need approximately 75 and male needs around 90 mg of vitamin C per day. These certain guidelines say that, but according to our national guidelines, it is just around 40 mg of vitamin C per day. So this should be, at least this amount needs to be taken per day. Now, how do we get this 40 mg of vitamin C? If there are more amount of citrus fruits in your diet, for example, lemon, lime, vegetables like broccoli, grapefruits, they do give us a lot of vitamin C. Remember, if you are a smoker, your vitamin C requirement is higher, so you need to quit smoking, or you need to take more amount of vitamin C to ascorbic acid. It is, it gets destroyed or by around 60% on heating. When you heat vitamin C, it gets destroyed around 60%. So vitamin C should be taken without heating, preferably maybe in the form of lemon water, or maybe lemon juice, or just cut fruits and vegetables which are more in vitamin C. The next vitamin that I would like to give emphasis is on vitamin D. We know that, a lot of studies have shown that in India we have a large number of population who are suffering from vitamin D deficiency, especially for women in the menopausal period. We find that they are usually, a large chunk of this, population are deficient in vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential for the bones, for our bones, to keep them healthy. And apart from that, it has shown that supplementation of vitamin D helps us to improve our immunity, and it lowers the respiratory infection rates. So vitamin D supplementation is going to help in lowering the risk of respiratory infection. There are very few sources of vitamin D. Firstly, it is a sunlight vitamin. We get it from the sunlight, and apart from that, certain sources, food sources, the non-vegetarian sources are fatty fish, and we get it from egg yolks. Apart from that, from soya milk, and even from mushroom. But one good thing about the availability of vitamin D these days is when we go to a supermarket and buy all these packeted food products, right from cereals to the dairy milks, most of them are fortified with vitamin D. So even if that particular food is deficient in vitamin D, since it is fortified, most of them are with vitamin D. Along we have even packed food which are also enriched or maybe fortified with vitamin A, so that takes care of our vitamin D intake. Let's come to zinc, which is a mineral. It is required in very, very small amounts, but it is very important. It is very important for the enzymatic reactions. Apart from that, it is also important for wound healing. The zinc is available mainly in meat and poultry. We also get some amount of zinc from pulses and from dals. The requirement of zinc is around 8 mg for female, and for male it's a little bit higher to around 11 mg. And zinc, when I talk about zinc, we do quite a lot of zinc supplementation for our critical care patients when we find that they are deficit, and we give them, so that because we know that zinc helps in wound healing, and it is an important mineral at this time of the pandemic. Let us talk about the micronutrients. The macronutrients. These are the nutrients that we needed in more amounts. And when we talk about them, the first one is proteins. So when we talk about talk about proteins, proteins can be class 1, class 2, okay? That is the meat, fish and eggs protein, or that is the non-vegetarian protein, including milk. And apart from that, we also have the vegetarian sources. Now, what is the protein requirement per day? According to our, RDA, the protein requirement is 0.9 grams per kg body weight. So for a person who is around 100, maybe who's around 60 kgs, will need approximately 60 grams of protein. Remember, 60 grams of protein is not available in a 60-gram piece of fish, or maybe in a 60-gram piece of chicken. You'll be needing more to take care of that 60 grams. For example, around 100 grams of fish, if I just generalize, all types of fish, you'll be getting from around 16 grams of protein to around 22 grams of protein in around 100 grams of fish. So a 100-gram piece of chicken or fish does not mean a 100-gram piece of, 100 grams of proteins. Okay. Next, we will be looking into the diabetic patients who are on maybe medication and who are on insulin. They have improved, or they have controlled the diabetic with some amount of activity. Activity during this time might not be very, very feasible, especially outdoor activity. So they need to take care of the diet, and along with that, how do they take care of the diet? That is by controlling the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates needs to be spaced, approximately say 55 to 60 percent of the total carbohydrate in one's diet can come from, say approximately 55 to around 60% of the total calories can come from carbohydrate. That could be safe, but spreading the carbohydrate is important. So if a person is on, say, around 1600 kilocalories, so talking about 55 to around 60% of carbohydrates, so that means approximately 900 to 1000 kilocalories from carbohydrate, knowing that 1 gram of carbohydrates gives us 4 kilocalories. So the carbohydrate allowance for that particular person on a 1600 kilocalorie diet will be approximately, say, 225 to around 250 grams of carbohydrate per day. But that carbohydrate needs to be spaced in the 3 major meals that you would have taken, your breakfast, lunch and dinner, apart from the tiny snacks, maybe 12 to around 15 grams of carbohydrate in the tiny snacks. Okay. Regarding the elderly's diet, elderlies are definitely have less amount of immunity. Studies have shown, maybe because the number of T cells are less, the bone marrow is not being able to not being able to produce our immune cells. So elderly people have less amount of immunity. So now how do we take care of them? They have a lot of constraints in their diet, also maybe because of their dentures, and maybe because of problems like dentures, maybe some intolerance to your milk, intolerance to gluten. Okay, so we need to really plan and really chalk out the diet for our elderly people. Diet during stress. Everyone is in a stressful condition now. Everyone is in a stress from morning till evening, looking into our COVID, the graphs going up. So this is making everyone stress. There is the stress that is a short-term stress. Maybe each one of us, when we have gone to give some examination, our appetites get shut. We don't want to eat. We feel pukish, okay, when we eat some food. That is the same thing will happen when we go to give an interview, right? So our appetites is just shut. That is just a short-term stress. But now, for days now, and it is a month now, so we are in a long-term stress. So in a long-term stress, what happens? The cortisol, the hormone, it gets increased, and this gives rise to more amount of appetite. So you feel hungry all the time, right? So you need to take care of how do you will be, combating this hunger pangs. Okay. Now staying at home, what happens? There's a lot of cooking being done, lot of experiments in cooking being done, and you are eating a lot of things which you might not have taken earlier. There was no one to cook these type of, very maybe I will not call it healthy. A lot of a variety of food is being prepared in each one of us, homes, and we tend to take more amount of food. Okay, and we try to fill up our tummy with what, with all this junk foods that are being prepared, which are very rich in fat, very rich in maybe carbohydrates. So food cravings can be taken care by using certain foods which are rich in fiber. So this fiber is going to help you to fill up your tummy, so that you have more amount of satiety. Fiber in terms of soluble and also in terms of insoluble fiber. Let me talk a little bit on the sugar, salt, fats, and certain individual foods which will help us in this pandemic. And actually, it is the WHO guidelines. Now, what does the WHO guidelines say regarding the sugar? Approximately 5% of our total calories needs to come from sugar. So that comes to approximately just 5 to 6 teaspoons of sugar in a day. So this 5 to 6 TSP of sugar means if you are indulging in taking a lot of desserts that has been prepared in your home, a lot of sweet dishes that has been prepared in your home, so you need to cut down on the sugar that you are using in your regular tea and your coffee, right? So that is the only way maybe you can cut down on the refined sugar. Let us go to salt. The salt guidelines of WHO is less than 5. So taking more amount of food, more amount of chatpata food is going to indulge you in the intake of more amount of salt. So now salt is, so you need to take care of the amount of salt you are taking, restrict on extra salt, and have a caution of the very, very salty foods that one is taking, in the term of in the foods like papad, or maybe in the foods like pickles, and even the processed food. I think most of you all will agree that we have been buying a lot of processed foods these days, lot of canned foods, lot of packeted foods, because we are afraid that tomorrow there might be a shortage of food. Right? This is, each one of us are doing that. So all this processed food and all this canned and the packeted foods, they are all what, preserved. So preservative means what? It has got some amount of salt, and if it is preserved in oil, means it is very, very rich in calories and fats, right? Regarding the fats, approximately 30% of the total calories needs to come from fats. So the amount of fat should be less in your diet. So too much of deep fat fried foods needs to be restricted. Probiotics are important during this period. Like in the starting of my session, I had said that the gut health is important. So when we talk about the probiotics are, if we take things like curd, yogurt, so this is going to help in building up a better gut microbiota. Apart from that, garlic and turmeric. Garlic and turmeric do have a lot of antioxidants. They do help us in building up the immunity. There are certain amounts of, there are some types of nuts, maybe like almonds, which are rich in vitamin E, that also helps us to gain immunity. Apart from that, I cannot finish my talk before I talk on alcohol, okay, and before I talk on smoking. Alcohol. I think alcohol shouldn't be in your shopping list at this time of the at this pandemic, because alcohol, it weakens the immune system, and alcohol is, when you take alcohol, the body's ability to cope up with any infection, it reduces. Okay, and that also happened in coping up with the COVID-19 infection. Okay, and alcohol will definitely be not recommended at all if you are self quarantine, and alcohol need not be a part of a healthy lifestyle, and therefore should not be in your shopping list. Smoking, try to quit smoking, because smokers will have smokers will have less immunity for the for any respiratory tract infection. Okay. With aging, as I had said, the immunity decreases, so elderly people are to be taken care of. And when we talk about any food handlers, like now we have a lot of online food ordering for food, right? So when we order the food online, we should ensure that we order it from a good source. Okay. Receive the food at below 5 degrees centigrade or above 60 degrees centigrade, 60 or 65 degrees centigrade, which is going to help you to ensure that the food is safe. So that is the safe zone of food, below 5 and above 65 degrees. In the home, we should ensure that the raw food and the cooked food are kept separately. The kitchen is to be clean, utensils to be definitely clean. You use clean water for cooking your food, and cooking should be done thoroughly. I think the one thing that this pandemic has taught us is, an opportunity that most of us got, that we are with the family 24 into 7, right? So we need to have fulfill that by something quality time with the family. And the parents in the family should be the role model for the children, okay, to have a healthy eating habits and a healthy lifestyle. Thank you. There was a question regarding, and I think I have suggested regarding the foods that increase immunity, okay, and antioxidants. They can be all those vitamin C rich foods, vitamin A, vitamin D, zinc, and okay, one more thing regarding hydration. Keep yourself hydrated. Drink a lot of water, okay. Maybe you can you can make your water exciting by putting a dash of lime, maybe putting in some putting in some this thing, your mint, right? That is also going to help you to make the water at least exciting. A dash of lemon is really going to do you good. Do not indulge in too much of tea and coffee, and definitely not too much of the sweetened beverages. Yeah, non-veg can definitely be taken. Yes, especially protein has a big role in increasing, in optimizing or in increasing our immunity. A good amount of protein. You can take protein in the form of low fat milk, or in the form of eggs. Eggs is a complete protein, and eggs it is easy because eggs can be cooked in any way. You can have it in your as a boil, as the poached, or maybe it can be had with as an omelette prepared in a non-stick. And you can also give eggs to your children if they're fussy of eating an omelette, or just like or omelette or not an egg, you can give it in the form of a sweet dish. If someone is gluten intolerant and lactose intolerant, the alternative suggestions, okay. Like in case of gluten intolerance, gluten is we get gluten only from wheat, okay. So maida, atta, suji, your wheat pasta, your vermicelli, they all contain gluten. So the person needs to choose the cereals that are rice based. Rice based means the things which are gluten free are rice, and maybe puff rice, flake rice, okay, chire. So these are gluten free. And in case of lactose intolerant, it can be from it can be from soya, which is no lactose, and that's all. Thank you very much. Useful tips is take a healthy diet. You need to space your meals. Do not overindulge. Do not take too much of high calorie foods, because this time of the time, at this time you don't have much of activity, so you don't have the opportunity to lose your calories. So just eating and lying down definitely is not going to work. Yeah, that is what I had said, for repeated sprouts of hunger, which maybe most of us will be having, because there's nothing else to do. What do we look forward to? Maybe we look forward to the news and seeing that we are more stressed. And the other thing which will help you is, by taking the snacks which are rich amount of fiber. Maybe you can have some sprouts, you can have some chola, things like that, which is going to help you. Yeah, lemon means any kind of lemon, any kind that will give you a very good amount of vitamin C. Daily workouts is, you can maybe do some skipping, do some workout. I don't say workout, maybe some amount of yoga and pranayam. That is really going to help. Options for sodium and calcium. Sodium, I wonder, why do you need sodium? Someone, if the sodium is less, definitely common salt is going to help than normal salt. And for calcium, it is mainly available in the milk and the milk products. I don't know. I don't understand why we need to, avoid chicken. Chicken can definitely be taken. Cook it well, wash it well, cook it well thoroughly. I think it should be safe. Definitely, it should be stay safe. If you have water retention, you need to know what is the cause of water retention. Water retention may be because of some other, comorbidities that a person might be having. And if there is water retention, I think sodium, that is common salt, need to be restricted. And you need to go to a medical professionalism to take care of the water retention or if there is any edema. Yeah, black tea is good. Black tea is good. Suffering from asthma. Okay, precaution, definitely. This is the time to, definitely, the asthmatic patient should please be safe, because this is a big comorbidity, and you should definitely stay safe. Do not take too much of carbohydrate at one go. Raw haldi can definitely be taken. Yeah, and you can also use it in your diet, in your cooking. Haldi has got curcumin, which is an which is an antioxidant. I think this question I had answered regarding the swelling of the feet. You should cut down on your salt, and definitely take the help of a professional. Yeah, fish is good, especially, certain fatty fishes have got good sources of omega 3 fatty acids, omega 6 fatty acids, and it's also a good source of, vitamin D. For infants, keep them safe, and keep them hydrated, adequate amount of water. Lemon tap, then what do I do? See, this lemon, if your daughter is, this is Arindam, if your daughter is not okay with by taking lemon, then you can give her some other foods which are rich in vitamins C. That is, you can give maybe spinach, or you can give things like broccoli and other, citrus fruits, maybe sweet lime. That will also have good amount of vitamin C. Okay. So thank you very much. It was wonderful interacting with each one of you all. Thank you very much. Namaste. yeah, sure. My contact is my name is Babita Hazarika, and I work at Apollo Gleneagles Hospital. You can contact the hospital number. Ask for my contacts. They will definitely put you to me. Should we eat? Okay, questions coming up. Sources of iron and protein. Iron and protein. I think I have already covered. Jaggery is a good source of iron. Okay, and good source of iron. And any other questions? So we end here. Thank you very, very much.